Hi, thank you for tuning in, and welcome to my jewelry design studio. It's been a while since I've made a video specifically about the gemstones and the crystals that inspire my work for the shop, The Art of Gems. And today felt like the perfect day to film because I've just unearthed some of my absolute favorite gemstones, and I'm ready to make some new designs and share them. But first I want to kind of nerd out a bit and tell you the history of these particular stones. First and foremost, I wanted to make this video about a stone that has captivated my imagination from early childhood, and that is amber. I'm wearing some amber earrings with these kind of summery friendship bracelet type dangly tassels. I'm wearing a new amber bracelet that I just made today, about to load into my shop. And I've got a precious little sachet of amber just waiting to be made into new designs. What is it about amber that is so appealing to jewelry artists, and why has this stone been considered precious among people of the Baltic regions, in England, in ancient Greece? Why was this a favorite stone for ancient gem workers? The answer to that question goes beyond the modern day crystal healing properties attributed to the stone, although there's a time and a place for that too, but it goes to a really practical, scientific, measurable energy that these stones have, and that is static electricity. When you were a little kid, you probably remember at some point a teacher or a parent or a day home instructor, somebody giving you a balloon and telling you that if you rub it on your head over and over and over and then stick it to the wall, that static electricity, which seems so magical to little minds, will actually suspend it in place. Believe it or not, amber has that same property. If you take an amber gem and rub it on your hair or rub it on your pet's fur, it actually becomes positively charged, and you can hold it back and the hair will follow it. You can pick up little things like bits of tissue paper, like fibers, like fabrics, because of this really cool property. To the ancient Greeks, that piezoelectric or static electric charge that amber had was so fascinating that they considered the stone lucky to have and energizing, and so they started using it in jewels for the royals. In Russia, even in kind of recent history, the Tsars considered amber to be one of the absolute most precious gems. It wouldn't have been considered semi-precious, as it's now kind of been relegated to. It would have been considered one of the foremost sought-after gemstones. Besides being static electric, amber is also one of the stones that even people who don't consider them sensitive to crystal energy can feel. Amber actually radiates a warmth, and some people consider this to be inherent in its prehistoric origin, because amber is not actually an inert stone like most crystals and most gems are. Amber actually comes from an organic origin. It's the fossilized ancient sap from trees. And I guess if you've seen the movie Jurassic Park, or if you've read the Jurassic Park books, you'll already know this. Because amber is fossilized tree sap, it sometimes contains little particles from the Jurassic period, just like that mosquito featured in the movie from which scientists were able to hypothetically extract DNA. So when you hold a piece of amber, you're not just holding a pretty rock, you're actually holding a piece of ancient Earth history, something that dates back to millions and millions of years old. And for me, for a lot of people, it's a little bit comforting to hold on to something so historic in its origin, because it reminds us of the cycles of time, the transformations the world has gone through, the fact that there has been climate change in the past, and Earth always prospers, always comes back. It's something comforting, right? So amber, it was one of my favorite stones as a kid, because as a child, I was really into, I guess you could say, like nerdy scientific stuff. I loved outer space and gazing at the stars and visiting places like the Royal Tyrrell Museum in my home province of Alberta, Canada, where paleontologists would regularly dig up fossils and entire dinosaur skeletons like Albertosaurus and Tyrannosaurus Rex. And when I would look at these kinds of fossils and when I would really think about it, it was almost mind-blowing. I mean, it still is. I shouldn't say was, as if that childlike wonder has gone. For me, anything fossilized, anything ancient, anything petrified just carries with it so much awe and wonder that it's one of my favorite materials to work with in jewelry, because it's not just the art of gems, it's like the art of the world, the art of existence. These kinds of fossilized ancient artifacts, for me, they're just a constant reminder of the wonder of creation. So for my shop, you'll notice if you click on the link in the video description, lots of new pieces of amber. And I highly recommend testing it out for yourself. You know, rub that stone on your hair. I can maybe demonstrate, but it's hard to show on camera since it's such a tiny little stone. But if you rub the amber, and then you hold it out and the hairs follow it. Maybe I'd need a higher resolution camera, or I don't want to look like it's a trick. But anyway, play with it yourself, see how that static electricity works. And also, for feeling the warmth, if you hold your hand about an inch above the piece of amber, you'll feel something like a pinprick sensation at first. Some people will feel it like pins and needles, but everyone will feel it like a warmth or like a glow. In fact, the very first time I went into a place in Vancouver called the Crystal Arc, I told the girl there that I couldn't really feel crystal energy. It was something I'd heard about. And of course, we all know that watches will operate with quartz or with tourmaline. A lot of the great Swiss clockmakers to this day use gemstones because they just have that energy to them. And she said, don't worry, there's a stone that everyone can feel. It's universal. And that means that the warmth radiated by amber is something that I encourage you to play with if you feel like you're not sensitive to it, because it gives you that satisfaction of having that tangible, physical feeling. And so yeah, check out my shop link. You'll see all the latest amber pieces, like these earrings I made that have amber, and that summery friendship bracelet style, like this latest very dainty woman's bracelet. And if you're a guy, don't worry, I do men's jewelry too, like this piece using volcano stone and amber. Yes, it's pretty hot for summertime, but don't worry. Although amber radiates a warmth, it's not going to actually heat up your body and make you boiling. Don't worry, it's not that kind of warmth. It's more like when you consciously put your awareness there, you'll feel it. And the other stones I want to share are, again, kind of going back to that nerdy childhood fascination with fossils, and one of them is petrified wood. I just find this to be one of the coolest gems out there, and it's kind of opalized. It's not the kind of precious opal that has rainbows of colors and that looks almost like an effervescent glass. It's more that solid opalization. And that happens when the natural matter of this ancient forest, this ancient tree bark, this ancient wood, gets replaced in time by the tiny crystalline particles. You can actually see the patterns in the wood if you look at it, and these are polished slabs, so it's a little easier to see. And when I look at it and see especially the rings of that wood, again, it brings up that wonder and that fascination about how the world works, that something that lived millions of years ago can still be felt and remembered and held in our hands to this day. So you can expect that by the time this video is loaded, there will be some new pieces using that petrified wood. And the last stone I want to share with you is quite possibly the nerdiest, grossest thing that I have that I'll be putting in my shop, and it's called Coprolite. So I actually bought this at the museum in Lethbridge, Alberta, my hometown, and it's gorgeous to look at. If you see the colors in this piece, these reds, that opalescent kind of white, it looks a lot like, whoops, I'm dropping it. It looks a lot like amber because it has those warm brownish glows. and you wouldn't know it to look at it, but this is actually fossilized dinosaur poop. Now, my Auntie Mary Lynn, who some of you might have seen if you're a regular viewer of mine, you might have seen her in some of the road trip videos I've made, especially in one where we went to Waterton Lakes National Park last year, or the Thanksgiving dinner video where I shared with you the vegan Thanksgiving feast that I made. She was there enjoying it. Well, my Auntie Mary Lynn was an elementary school teacher when I was a kid, and she first introduced me to this fascinating stone in a very cruel way. She held it out to me and said, "Sarah, do you know what this gemstone is?" And ever the rock hound, I was really intrigued right away. I said, "No, I don't know what it is. What is it? What is it?" And she said, "It's a stone that has a very special flavor to it. It has a taste. Scientists figure it out by tasting it because it tastes different than every other stone. But you have to be ready to lick it because it's so special." So of course, the first thing I did was lick it. Like, I got my tongue right out, like, okay, how does this stone taste? And I told her, like, "Auntie, I don't taste anything special. It just tastes like a regular rock to me." And she said, "Well, keep licking. You'll get it. You'll get it." And as I was licking it, she started laughing like it was the most hysterical thing she'd ever seen. So I asked her, "What's so funny?" And that's when she told me, coprolite is not just a regular stone, it's fossilized dinosaur poop. So it's a dropping from a dinosaur that, just like petrified wood or just like amber, over millions and millions of years, the particles of that feces has been replaced by stone. And so don't worry, it's no longer stinky, and no, it doesn't have a flavor, and I don't really recommend licking it. I mean, it's kind of a funny prank if you want to do that to somebody, but I never for my life forgot that moment, because I was equally disgusted and excited at the same time to think that I was actually holding in my hands something that came out of a dinosaur. So I still think it's really cool that dinosaur fossils exist, and in places like the Natural History Museum or the Royal Tyrrell Museum, you can see dinosaur skeletons, but in the gift shops, you can also buy coprolite, that dinosaur dropping turned into a stone. So I've been holding on to this stuff for a couple of years now. I just think it's so, so cool. And I'll finally be making something out of it. You can expect to see little stud earrings and maybe a pendant or two of coprolite. And I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. If you're also kind of an ancient history nerd, if you think dinosaurs are interesting, if you like that idea of something absolutely ancient that you can carry around with you as a fossil now, just check out the stuff. I have fun with it, and I hope you do too. And so that's it for today's video. Let me know in the description if there's any particular stone that you consider your favorite, or if there's a stone you'd like to know a little bit more about, and I will be more than happy to share in an upcoming video. And also, if you mention this video when you purchase anything in my store, The Art of Gems, I will include an absolute free little piece of amber for you as my personal gift, as well as one more gemstone charm that I'll choose specifically for you. Just if you mention this video, you'll get that free piece of ancient history, your very own ancient fossilized bit of tree sap that we call amber. So feel it, let me know if you can feel the warmth, and I look forward to checking up with you and visiting in an upcoming video. Thanks again for tuning in. Bye!